Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, reach for your phone, and within seconds you're gone. Your mind, still fragile from sleep, is sucked into a stream of information. Tweets, videos, dopamine hits of validation. A notification pops up. Someone liked your post from last night. You don't even remember what you posted. But for a moment you feel something. A flicker of importance. Then, without thinking, you scroll. And scroll. And scroll. 30 minutes disappear before you even realize what's happened. Breakfast tastes bland. The world outside feels dull. You've already fed your brain something more addictive than sugar, more potent than a drug, and now the real world feels slow. But here's the paradox. You don't feel good. If anything, you feel worse. A vague unease lingers, like you've lost something but can't quite put your finger on what. You tell yourself you'll stop, that today will be different. Yet hours later you find yourself back in the same loop. What? Ask yourself this: when was the last time you were truly alone with your thoughts? Not distracted, not entertained, not consuming, but alone. Completely alone. No phone. No scrolling. No external noise. Chances are it's been a long time. Now imagine sitting in a silent room for 10 minutes, doing absolutely nothing. No phone. No music. No distractions. Just you and your mind. Most people wouldn't last 5 minutes before reaching for their device. In fact, in one psychological study, participants were given the choice between sitting in silence or receiving a mild electric shock. Over 67% of men and 25% of women chose the shock. What? Because even physical pain was preferable to sitting alone with their thoughts. Think about that. We have reached a point where we fear boredom more than pain, where a moment of stillness feels like suffering. And yet, we wonder why we feel so disconnected, anxious, and exhausted. But here's the real question: who benefits from this? Because make no mistake, this isn't just happening by accident. Social media didn't evolve into an addictive, mind-hijacking system randomly. It was designed this way, carefully, intentionally, with billions of dollars and the brightest minds in psychology working to ensure that you never stop scrolling. This is not a tool. This is a machine. And you are the product. What if I told you that your attention, your emotions, your very perception of reality, none of it is truly yours anymore? That somewhere along the way, without realizing it, you gave away ownership of your own mind? But here's the real nightmare. You never even noticed it happening. Your thoughts, your desires, even the way you see yourself. Slowly, invisibly, social media has rewritten them. It has conditioned you, reshaped you, molded you into something profitable. And like any well-designed machine, it doesn't just want your time. It wants your identity. The question is, how deep does this control go? And more importantly, can you break free? At first, social media seemed harmless, just a way to connect, a tool for communication, a window into the world. But if that were true, why does it leave us more disconnected than ever? Why do we feel emptier after using it, not fuller? To understand this, we have to go deeper, into the roots of human psychology, the nature of addiction, and the manipulation of desire, the illusion of choice. You think you're in control, that every time you open an app, it's a decision, your decision. But let's challenge that assumption. Have you ever found yourself scrolling endlessly, even when you didn't want to? Have you ever closed an app, only to reopen it seconds later without realizing? So, who made that choice? Not you. The truth is, your brain has been hacked. In psychology, there's a concept called intermittent reinforcement, a system of rewards given at unpredictable intervals. It's the same principle that keeps gamblers hooked to slot machines. You don't win every time, but sometimes randomly you do. And that's enough to keep you coming back. Social media is built on this exact mechanism. Every scroll is a pull of the lever. Every like is a random reward. Every notification is a dopamine hit. And dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for pleasure and motivation, is the same chemical that drives addiction. In fact, studies show that social media platforms activate the same neural pathways as drugs like cocaine. The more you use it, the more your brain rewires itself to crave it. So if you've ever felt hooked to your phone, that's because you are, by design. But addiction isn't just about habit. It's about control. And the deeper question is, who is controlling you? The power of psychological manipulation. To answer this, we have to look at a chilling truth. Social media is not a passive tool. It's an active force. It doesn't just respond to your behavior, it shapes it. Former Google ethicist Tristan Harris once revealed something disturbing. Social media companies have entire teams of engineers whose job is to figure out how to keep you engaged for as long as possible. Their goal is not to serve you, it's to trap you. This is where behavioral psychology comes in. Variable rewards, the unpredictable nature of likes, comments, and views keeps you hooked. Infinite scroll, there's no stopping point, your brain doesn't know when to quit. Social proof, seeing others interact makes you feel like you're missing out, FOMO. Personalized algorithms, your feed is not neutral. It's designed to trigger emotion, especially outrage and insecurity. And this leads to a horrifying realization. Your mind is not your own. Think about how social media subtly controls your emotions. One moment you're laughing at a meme. The next you're enraged over a political post. Then you feel insecure because someone looks happier or more successful than you. You didn't choose any of this. The algorithm chose for you. And that algorithm has one goal, to keep you engaged. Hate something? You'll see more of it. Feel insecure? You'll be shown things that make it worse. Engaged in drama? The algorithm will make sure you never escape it. Why? Because negative emotions keep you online longer. And the longer you stay, the more ads they can show you. The more data they can extract. The more money they make. Do you see it now? You are not a user. You are the product. Jung, Nietzsche, and the death of the authentic self. Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists in history, warned about the dangers of the false self, a persona we create to gain approval from society. The problem is, the more we live through this false self, the more we lose touch with who we really are. Social media amplifies this to an extreme. We curate perfect versions of ourselves. We seek validation from strangers. We measure our worth in likes and followers. Over time, this destroys the real self. We no longer act based on what we truly feel. We act based on what will get the most engagement. We become characters in a play, performing for an audience that doesn't even care. Nietzsche once said, "When you stare into the abyss stares back at you." Social media is the abyss. It doesn't just reflect who you are, it changes you. Slowly, invisibly, until one day you wake up and realize, you don't know who you are anymore. And that's the scariest part. Not that social media is addictive. Not that it's manipulating you. But that it's rewriting you. So now the question isn't just, how do we stop this? It's something deeper, something more unsettling. If social media has shaped our identity for so long, who are we without it? You don't remember when it happened. When your attention span shrank to mere seconds. When boredom became unbearable. When silence, real silence, felt almost threatening. There was a time when you could sit alone with your thoughts. A time when reflection was natural, when ideas flowed from stillness. But now, the moment your mind finds empty space, you reach for your phone. Not because you need to, but because you must. This is the unseen consequence of social media. Not just distraction, not just addiction, but a rewiring of the human mind. The death of deep thinking. Philosophers like Nietzsche, Schopenhauer, and Sartre spent their lives wrestling with deep, painful questions. Who are we? What is truth? What does it mean to live authentically? But today we don't think. We react. Social media has conditioned us to consume, not contemplate. Think about it. When was the last time you sat with an idea for more than a few seconds? When was the last time you followed a thought to its logical conclusion, rather than being interrupted by a notification? The modern mind is fragmented. Short-form content has killed attention spans. Why read a book when you can watch a 30-second summary? Outrage has replaced understanding. Why engage with complex arguments when you can just dunk on someone in the comments? Entertainment has become a drug. Why sit in silence when there's endless stimulation at your fingertips? The result? We are losing the ability to think for ourselves. And that is exactly what those in power want. Because a distracted population is easy to control. The weaponization of attention. If you control attention, you control reality. Governments know this. Corporations know this. Social media companies thrive on this. Do you think it's a coincidence that anger spreads 6 times faster than joy on social media? That misinformation is far more engaging than the truth? No, it's a design choice. Because when people are outraged, they don't think. When people are distracted, they don't resist. When people are addicted, they are easy to manipulate. Aldous Huxley once warned about this in Brave New World. He predicted a future where people wouldn't need to be controlled by force. Instead, they would be so entertained, so distracted, that they would surrender their freedom willingly. They wouldn't even realize what was happening. That future is now. Social media is not just hijacking your mind. It is shaping society itself, and the consequences are everywhere. Democracy is crumbling because political discourse is now reduced to viral clips and emotional manipulation. Mental health is collapsing because people are trapped in cycles of comparison, anxiety, and addiction. The truth is disappearing because algorithms prioritize engagement over reality. We are not just losing ourselves. We are losing control over reality itself. The silent epidemic of loneliness. But perhaps the cruelest irony is this. Social media was meant to connect us. Instead, it has made us more isolated than ever. People have thousands of followers, yet no real friends. They receive constant validation, yet feel more insecure than ever. They are surrounded by people online, yet suffocating in loneliness. Why? Because real connection requires depth. And depth cannot survive in an environment built on speed, surface, and spectacle. You can't form meaningful relationships when conversations are reduced to emojis and disappearing messages. You can't build real intimacy when self-worth is tied to likes and engagement. You can't develop true confidence when your value is constantly compared to a curated illusion. Loneliness isn't just about being alone. It's about feeling unseen. And in a world where everyone is performing, where no one is truly present, we have never felt more invisible. The algorithm knows you better than you know yourself. Have you ever had the eerie feeling that your phone is reading your mind? It's not magic, it's data. Every action you take online, every click, every scroll, every hesitation is recorded, analyzed, predicted. The algorithm knows what excites you, what enrages you, what makes you feel insecure, and it feeds you more of it, not to help you, not to empower you, but to control you. Think about this. Have you ever changed your opinion, not because of careful thought, but because of what you kept seeing online? Have you ever felt strongly about something, only to later realize you were simply caught in a digital echo chamber? If so, how much of your mind is still truly yours? At what point do we stop being individuals and start becoming extensions of the machine? The ultimate cost. This is the real price of social media. Not just time wasted, not just addiction, but the erosion of free will. When your thoughts are shaped by algorithms, when your emotions are manipulated for profit, when your identity is fragmented into pixels and performances, what remains of you? And if you don't take back control, will you even notice when you're gone? This is not just a warning. This is a battle for your mind. And the only question left is, will you fight back? Imagine waking up one morning and realizing you are not in control of your own mind. Your thoughts, your emotions, your desires, they are not entirely yours. They have been shaped, molded, and directed by an invisible force. A force so subtle that you never questioned it. A force so powerful that even when you recognized its presence, you still obeyed. But today something is different. Today you do the unthinkable. You put down your phone. Not because you are forced to. Not because there's nothing new to scroll through. But because you choose to. And for the first time in years, you feel something you almost forgot existed. Silence. Not the silence of emptiness. Not the silence of loneliness. But the silence of a mind finally returning to itself. And in that moment, a realization dawns upon you. You have been enslaved, but you are not powerless. You can reclaim your mind. And here's how. Step 1. Disrupt the pattern. The first step to breaking free from any form of control is awareness. You must first recognize that your habits, your impulses, your compulsions, they are not entirely your own. You are being manipulated every single day. And the only way to break free is to disrupt the pattern. Here's a simple experiment. The next time you instinctively reach for your phone, stop. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? Am I searching for something? Avoiding something? Being pulled by something? You will start to notice something disturbing. Most of the time, you're not using social media because you want to. You're using it because you've been conditioned to. Once you see the pattern, you can break it. Delete the apps from your home screen. Turn off notifications. Replace the habit with something intentional, reading, journaling, deep thinking. Disrupt the pattern. Regain control. Step 2. Rebuild your attention span. Your attention is your most valuable resource. And yet, you've spent years giving it away, for free. It's time to take it back. Start small. Read a book for 10 minutes without looking at your phone. Watch a movie without checking social media. Sit in silence for 5 minutes and just observe your thoughts. At first, it will feel unbearable. Your brain has been trained to crave constant stimulation. The discomfort you feel, that is the withdrawal. But push through it, because on the other side of distraction lies depth. And depth is where true thinking, true creativity, and true freedom begin. Step 3. Escape the digital echo chamber. The internet has become an arena of manipulated outrage. Your feed is not showing you reality. It is showing you a distorted, algorithmic hallucination, designed to keep you engaged, enraged, and enslaved. It's time to step outside of it. Seek out ideas that challenge your beliefs. Read books instead of headlines. Have real conversations with real people instead of digital debates with strangers. Escape the echo chamber. Start thinking for yourself. Because if an algorithm can decide what you believe, are your beliefs even real? Step 4. Reconnect with reality. One of the greatest tragedies of social media is that it has made the real world feel less real. A sunset no longer feels beautiful unless it's posted. A moment no longer feels meaningful unless it's shared. But reality is not online. Reality is the way sunlight feels on your skin. Reality is the weight of a good book in your hands. Reality is the quiet joy of a deep conversation, uninterrupted by notifications. You don't need social media to validate your experiences. You just need to experience them. So take a walk without your phone. Write down your thoughts without sharing them. Enjoy a meal without taking a picture of it. Reconnect with life. And watch as the digital illusion starts to lose its power. Step 5. Take back your identity. Social media wants you to be a brand. It wants you to define yourself through aesthetics, engagement, and public perception. But you are not a profile. You are not a collection of curated images and carefully crafted captions. You are a mind, a soul, a being. And you are not for sale. So let go of the need to be seen. Let go of the need to be validated. Let go of the pressure to perform. Instead, become real. Not an influencer. Not an algorithm's puppet, but a thinker, a creator, an individual. And in doing so, you will become something terrifyingly powerful, someone they cannot control. The power of choosing yourself. Freedom does not come from deleting your accounts. It does not come from taking a temporary break. It comes from a fundamental shift in perspective. It comes when you stop seeking validation. It comes when you take back your attention. It comes when you remember that you were never meant to be controlled. The rebellion starts in the mind. And once you wake up, you can never go back. Now the only question is, will you choose yourself? It's been weeks since you last mindlessly scrolled through social media. The urge is still there, but it's weaker now, a faint whisper instead of an overwhelming command. You don't reach for your phone first thing in the morning anymore. You don't feel the phantom buzz of notifications that never came. You don't crave the dopamine hit of likes, comments, and shares. But something even stranger has happened. For the first time in years, you feel present. Not lost in the past, not anxious about the future, just here. A clarity emerges, cutting through the mental fog like a blade. And with that clarity comes the ultimate realization. Social media was never the problem. You were. It's easy to blame social media for what it has done to your mind. The endless distractions, the engineered addictions, the manipulation of your thoughts. But the truth is more unsettling. Social media only amplified what was already there. It didn't create your fear of missing out, it just made it unbearable. It didn't create your insecurity, it just gave you a never-ending stream of comparisons. It didn't make you crave attention, it just turned that craving into a currency. You were already vulnerable. Social media simply exposed it. And that's why deleting apps, taking digital detoxes, or even quitting social media entirely is not enough. Because the real battle was never against social media. The real battle was always against yourself. The real enemy, your own mind. Why were you so easily controlled? Why did you willingly surrender your attention, your emotions, your identity? Because deep down you were running from something. From silence. From solitude. From the discomfort of your own thoughts. Social media was not the disease. It was the escape. An escape from boredom. An escape from self-reflection. An escape from the parts of yourself you didn't want to confront. This is why quitting social media is so difficult. Because once you remove the distraction, you are left alone with yourself. And that is where the real challenge begins. The hardest thing you will ever do. Most people will never break free, not because they can't, but because they won't. Because true freedom demands something terrifying. You must face yourself. No filters, no performances, no audience. Just you, raw, unedited, exposed. You must sit in the silence that social media has been drowning out for years. You must confront the thoughts and emotions you've been avoiding. You must wrestle with the deeper question. Who are you when no one is watching? For some, this question is too much to bear. And so they go back to scrolling, back to seeking validation, back to the comfort of being distracted. But for those who are willing to endure the discomfort, for those who are willing to go beyond the withdrawal, for those who are willing to face themselves, a new kind of life begins. The world after the illusion. When you truly wake up from the grip of social media, the world does not look the same. You see people glued to their screens and you don't envy them anymore. You pity them. You hear someone talking about their follower count, and it sounds like they're discussing monopoly money. You recognize the hunger for validation in others, and instead of feeling it yourself, you observe it, like a scientist watching a lab experiment. You are no longer inside the illusion. You are outside of it. And once you are outside, you realize something incredible. You are free. The new path, choosing a different life. True freedom isn't just about avoiding social media. It's about choosing a different way to live. A life where your thoughts belong to you. A life where your emotions aren't dictated by a news feed. A life where your value isn't determined by an algorithm. And in this life, something profound happens. You start creating instead of consuming. You start thinking instead of reacting. You start existing in the real world instead of the digital one. You become the kind of person who cannot be controlled. And that, more than anything, is what the system fears the most. Because a mind that cannot be controlled, a person who does not seek validation, a thinker who is immune to manipulation, that is a dangerous thing. The final choice. Now the choice is yours. You can wake up tomorrow and go back to the way things were. Or you can step forward into a new way of thinking, a new way of being. A life where you are no longer a puppet, no longer a product, no longer a prisoner. A life where you own your mind. But make no mistake, this is not an easy path. Most people will never take it. Most people will stay trapped in the illusion. But you are different. Because now you know the truth. And once you know the truth, you can never unsee it. The question is, what will you do with it?